So it's Senior Rotax Heat 2, Group C versus D. Let's have a look at the starting grid here for race 7 out of 24. Macaulay Bishop will line up on the front row. Alongside him will be Sean Butcher, Jamie Pirelli and Callum Bradshaw on row 2. Dion van Verven, Kai Helats, Austin Lee, Tyler Harris, Vic Stevens and Luca Schlegel rounding out the top 10. Lauren Legault, then we have got the likes of Barthorpe, Hamera, William Pemble in that mix. Along with Zach Scala, William Christensen, Zombor Kovac, Kaden McQueen, Luke Bate. Then we've also got Danny Shields, Matteo Pianezzola. Along with that, we have the 955. And that is Drew Perry with Thule Motorsport. Good to see them in the paddock here at the Euro Trophy. Right, 10 minutes plus an additional lap. They split and headed into round lines. Are we ready? Are we steady? Lights are out. First time for Heat 2 as we get going here at Paul Fletcher International. Good start by the 937 of Macaulay Bishop as they head through over into the top of the hill off of Uncle Tyrone's banking and into the Litchfield Bridge for the opening tour of this race. Down the hill they go, into the opening hairpin, 2, 3 abreast at points up and down the order. Bishop holds on to the lead thus far. Just behind him, he's got the likes of the 392 of Jamie Pirelli, Callum Bradshaw running P3, Sean Butcher in 4th position as things stand at this moment, but he's run a little bit wide out of the Fullerton S's. He's got someone up his inside, so Butcher down another position into P5. Coming up to complete the opening lap of this race. Macaulay Bishop, this year a Kartmasters GP plate winner. He's got Jamie Pirelli, Callum Bradshaw in 2nd and 3rd. Kai Hilletz now is the one that got past Sean Butcher, the 374, recently turned 17. That's up in Cameroon, Belgium. Running in Porsches these days with Red Ant Racing. Also a 24-hour series race winner with the team. Dion van Verven, Austin Lee. Then we've got Luca Schlegel, Vic Stevens, and the one and only Kaden McQueen, now a driver coach these days, but back once again. Butcher trying to get the crisscross on Rilletz. Nearly had Austin Lee up the inside. Oh, they are squeezing again. And that is Rilletz versus Butcher. And Butcher has just lost 2 positions as a result of Rilletz trying to squeeze him on the run down to the Fullerton S's. And side by side. And it was sidewall rubbing. So the opening couple of laps have been completed. Make that 2 of them as Macaulay Bishop has the fastest lap of the race. Jamie Pirelli, Callum Bradshaw, Kai Hilletz, Austin Lee, Dion van Verven, Sean Butcher, Kaden McQueen now up to 8th position ahead of Vic Stevens with Tyler Harris, Miles Barthorpe, Lucas Schlegel, William Pemble, Lauren Legault from Canada rounding out the top 14 and Zach Scala completing the top 15. So now it is a case that Macaulay Bishop has got a little bit of a slender advantage 0.4 of a second. The 937 based out of Hoddesdon, not too far from the hometown of seven-time F1 world champion and the first person to ever win a Kartmasters Grand Prix Kartmasters event, Lewis Hamilton. That gap is starting to expand and it's gone up by 0.2. Bradshaw now ahead of Pirelli for second. Hillett's in fourth. Austin Lee in fifth. Sean Butcher, Caden McQueen have both got past the Netherlands' Dion van Verven in the 377. His dad Wilfred runs him and also spanners for him. So to have a privateer CRG up at this sharp end of the field, and that was very much the case when Dion was a junior last year. But Bradshaw making a return to the Euro Trophy, but also made his racing return last weekend at this very circuit. Fastest lap of the race, 56.854 seconds by Kai Hillertz, who is currently 2.1 seconds off of the race leader, Macaulay Bishop. So 6 minutes and 10 seconds plus an additional lap still to go. Pirelli looking to close in on Bradshaw through the Bruno Ferrari S's, up Uncle Tyrone's banking. A little bit further back, there is a battle happening between the likes of Austin Lee, Sean Butcher and Caden McQueen. Butcher and McQueen have both got through. Both got through on Austin Lee. Caden McQueen having to be very hard on the brakes, gets a bump from behind courtesy of the 379. These days based out of Germany. And now Dion van Verven launches it up the inside and outbrakes himself big time. It was a banzai move from Dion van Verven on Austin Lee at the second hairpin that did not pay off. Very lucky he didn't cause himself any dramas on that one and then he went straight on into the barriers just off the exit of the hairpin. Very, very close indeed there. So coming up to 5 minutes to go, plus an additional lap. There are trains up and down the field. The battle is really not happening at the front end because Macaulay Bishop has cantered away into the distance to the tune of 1.3 seconds. As now the battle for second, third and fourth really rages on. Kai Hillertz has got past Jamie Pirelli for P3, but Callum Bradshaw starting to pull away from the Belgian in third place. Into the Fullerton S's they go once again with 4.5 minutes remaining on the timer. And a slow-moving 9.55 Drew Perry, the 18-year-old from Walsall with Thule Motorsport, has just been running slowly coming out of hairpin number 2. And Bishop's lead has expanded now to 1.6 seconds. And now we've got a battle between Sean Butcher and Caden McQueen going underneath the bridge. Change for second. Hillertz takes Bradshaw through the banking. And still, getting a bit close for comfort, a little bit further outside of the top 10. Could have been that Lucas Schlegel with the likes of Zach Scowler, Magic Hamera, Lauren Legault from Montreal and Canada rounding out at the minute the top 15. They've got the likes of Matteo Pianetola. 3 minutes and 40 still to go, plus an additional lap. Butcher and McQueen have drawn battle lines. And McQueen very thankful on social media just a couple of days ago when a few people have been able to help him out, and he's running with Robert Schlunton's crew at RS Competition. But still the three-way battle between the Strawberry Racing teammates continue unabated. Hillertz in second. Third, it's Bradshaw. Fourth, it's Jamie Pirelli. And Drew Perry looks to have parked the Thule Motorsport 955. And his race is done and dusted after 5 laps. Zombra Kovac has dropped all the way down to 21st position. I haven't seen him go through Sector 3, so maybe he might be the next one to retire at the back end of the field. It's Danny Shields from the United Arab Emirates rounding out the field after 7 laps of racing. We're currently on lap number 8 here at Paul Fletcher International, and still line astern through the Fullerton S's between Sean Butcher and Caden McQueen. As we head into the final 2.5 minutes of the race, plus an additional lap, they are interlocked into battle. Black and white warning flag going out to William Pemble, currently running in 18th position. As McQueen, will he get the opportunity to go for a move on Butcher? Well, Butcher's in the hunt for the title, along with the likes of Hillertz and also Kimber, so will not want to cause problems for a title contender who just so happens to be the defending champion after last year, which went down to the wire, or pretty much went to the penultimate race of the season at Wackersdorf last year, just 12 months ago. Macaulay Bishop extending the lead over Kai Hillertz to just over 1.7 seconds. And behind McQueen and Butcher in 6th and 7th respectively. Battle for 7th looking rather tasty in its own right. Austin Lee battling away with Miles Barthorpe and Dion van Verven. And Van Verven goes very wide coming out of the final couple of corners, especially the last corner going onto the start-finish straight. McQueen looking left, looking right on Butcher, making sure it's a clean pass. He will not want to incur the wrath of the stewards. And there it happens. Turn 3 onto the Litchfield Bridge. McQueen gets through on Butcher to take 5th place. Great anticipation as always there by Caden McQueen. And great that both he and Sean Butcher, very respectful of one another, giving each other racing room to make moves happen. Coming down to the last 45 seconds of the race, plus an additional lap here in Senior Rotax, Heat 2, Group C and D. Kai Hunter winning the opening one. And the way things are going, it could be a clean sweep for the opening 2, courtesy of Macaulay Bishop, the 937. And his lead over Kai Hillertz, well, it's a little too late, I'm afraid, from the 374 from Strawberry Racing. Gap now down to 1.6 seconds. And at the moment, the fastest lap is in the hands of Kai Hillertz, 56.818. As they make their way through up the banking at Uncle Tyrone's, through over towards the Litchfield Bridge. And Caden McQueen has started pulling away from Sean Butcher. The gap between them after crossing line after lap number 10 was just under 0.4 of a second. Austin Lee puts in a personal best of a 57.116. Bishop still leads it. Timer has expired. One more lap to go here in the second of the 6 Senior Rotax heats. And Bishop looks over his right shoulder. Gap now just under 1.7 seconds. So Hillertz, Bradshaw and Perilli line astern going through the banking up the hill. So Bradshaw holding off Perilli for that 3rd place at the minute as they come off of the Litchfield Bridge down towards the first hairpin. Still very close as they make their way through to hairpin number 2. They'll have the run to the Fullerton S's, but with things being pretty much said and done at this moment in time, very shortly the checkered flag will wave, because coming through the Mike Wilson complex for the final time on lap number 12, the checkered flag is going to wave. It's 2 for 2 for Dan Holland Racing. Macaulay Bishop wins this heat by a comfortable margin of 1.5 seconds ahead of Kai Hillertz, Callum Bradshaw, Jamie Perilli, Caden McQueen, Sean Butcher, Austin Lee, Miles Barthorpe, Dion van Verven and Vic Stevens completing the top 10. 2 retirements on laps 6 and 5 respectively. Zombor Kovac and Drew Perry. And there is going to be a change in the order because Kai Hillertz has just been given a 5-second time penalty for forcing another driver off the track, which will demote him from 2nd position. So Macaulay Bishop takes the win in Heat 2, Group C and D here in Senior Rotax. Now, with the change in that will probably put Kai Hillertz around 6th or 7th position. So Callum Bradshaw inherits 2nd ahead of Jamie Perilli, Caden McQueen, Sean Butcher, Austin Lee. Kai Hillertz now demoted to 7th as a result of the post-race penalty. Dion van Verven, Vic Stevens, Lucas Schlegel, Tyler Harris, Lauren Ligor, Matteo Pianizzola, William Pemble, William Christensen, Luke Bate, Danny Scowler, Danny Shields, Zach Scowler, Danny Shields. Magic Hamera makes it to the checkered in 20th, with Zombarkovic retiring in lap 6, and Thule Motorsports' Drew Perry on lap 5.